Hey guys, I said there would be more than one TBR. Here's another. Hey guys, if you are new here, welcome to the Book Path. I'm Nicole, and if this isn't your first rodeo, thanks for sticking around. So, like I mentioned, there are multiple readathons going on. There are multiple TBR videos for me this month. I am sorry and apologize ahead of time for confusion, but I felt, like I said, splitting up this way was going to be easier to wrap your head around, or my head around, what I was reading this month and why I was reading some of these, and that not everything was going to be a mood read, that these are guided prompts. And with that being said, we knew that Steph over at Steph Loves was hosting the Cliterature Readathon. It's the first readathon to come out of what used to be the Cliterature Club Book Club. This is taking place the week after Valentine's Day, so it's starting on the 19th and going until the 25th of February. And with that, there are prompts to be done for this TBR. So we're going to go ahead and get quickly to them. There are some self-care prompts, once again, like she did in the Final Book Support Group, taking part in sprints, posting your TBR. I'm going to just, gloss over those ones as their self-care. You'll see it. We're done. I'll talk about what I did. Like if I take part in sprints, I take part in a sprint. It's what happens. And we're just going to get right down into the nitty-gritty of the books that we are reading. I think there's only one that I have mentioned from my February TBR to be used in this. The rest of them are new, which definitely increases the number of books that we are reading for this month. So it's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's all romance, right? So I should hopefully just go through them. Anyway, let's get started. So for our first prompt, we have to read a book with an illustrated cover. And for that, I ended up picking Right Next Door by April D. Berry. This is one of the authors that when I went to the indie author event back in October, I was able to meet with, and I didn't get any of her books because a lot of her books are for free on Kindle Unlimited, so I wanted to test them out there first. However, she had a raffle going on to win a book of hers of your choosing, and I won the raffle. And so out of all of her books, I picked up Right Next Door because when I read you the prompt, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. And basically it says, can two perpetually single people find love? Layla was determined to live her dream of being a famous author. 42, happily single and childless by choice, she was making a huge push to finally add an extra title to her name. Committed only to her work and to herself, she hardly had time for her beloved friends, let alone men. After years on stage, Henry was enjoying his new career path as a voiceover actor. He also enjoyed the ladies, but his time acting jaded him on the very idea of a relationship. But at 44, the revolving door of women is getting old. When Layla gets an idea to have a hot man act out some short scenes from a book to help boost the sales on social media, she turns to her friendly and handsome neighbor, Henry. He and Layla have a simple, fun, and strictly platonic relationship since she moved in 3 years ago, so he was more than willing to help. Plus, he was an actor, so it made perfect sense to ask him. But when the time comes, acting out a scene from a romance book stirs them both. Layla wonders, was he just that good of an actor? Had Henry imagined something that wasn't there? They were friends and neighbors, and so much could go wrong. But what if it went right? What if love was right next door? So I love the fact that obviously right is spelled right because she's an author. I love the play on the fact that she's an author of a romance book and he's doing voice acting, and they're going to do this kind of like promotional stuff, which if you follow TikTok, I don't do TikTok, but I do Instagram, and I see a lot of the stuff that was on TikTok or made for Instagram of these gorgeous men doing voices of characters or voices of lines from, steamy characters and steamy scenes. I just felt like this was so fitting for what's going on, time-wise and, everything here. So I'm reading this. I think I even have one of the bookmarks that she gave me, so I'm going to be using that one. And, she signed it and wrote a little message to me on the inside as well. So I'm excited because Her other books sounded fun as well, so hopefully this will be really good and it will lead me into reading more of her books, or maybe just sitting down and doing like just a whole mini, reading vlog with just her books. So we'll see. That's kind of what's in the plans, but this is definitely going to be my illustrated cover because it is illustrated. So next up, our prompt is to read a book that is LGBTQ+. And for that, I am choosing Fake Out, which is the first book in the Fake Boyfriend series. I had heard of this book. I think it was one of her possible picks for the Cliterature Book Club back in like June or so. It was a while back and it was one of the picks, but it didn't win out, but it stayed with me. So I'm going to pick it up now and do this. This is a male to male romance. So basically, we'll go ahead and take it because I thought it was fun. You have Maddox. Maddox, the reason I rarely go home is 3 simple words. I'm a liar. When the pressure to marry my childhood sweetheart became too much, I told her I was gay and then fled to New York like my ass was on fire. Now, 5 years later, and after a drunken encounter, I find myself invited to her wedding and I have to bring my boyfriend. The boyfriend who doesn't exist because I'm straight. At least I think I am. Meeting the guy I'm bribing to be my boyfriend for the weekend makes me question everything about myself. Enter the guy. Damon. When my sister asked me to pretend to be some straight guy's boyfriend, my automatic response is to say no. It's because of guys like him, people don't believe me when I tell them I'm gay. But Maddox has something I need. After an injury that cost me my baseball career, I'm trying to leave my playing days behind and focus on being the best sports agent I can be. 48 hours with my sister's best friend in exchange for a meeting with a possible client. I can do this. I just wish he wasn't so hot. Or that he didn't kiss me like he means it. Wait, why is the straight guy kissing me? So I am loving it. I think it's going to be funny. I think it's going to just be an interesting read with the whole fake dating trope, but also the faking that, one guy is faking that he's gay and the other guy is actually gay, and then the whole questioning coming up. So it's going to be an interesting book. No lie. I'm curious. It's been in my mind. We're going to figure it out. And so that is going to be my prompt for that. So after that, we have to read a book that is written by a POC author or a person of color. This can be somebody who is, it can be a Black author, Asian author, Hispanic author. And for that, I have chosen, this is the one book that was on my February T.B.R, and that is Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. This is the 3rd book, once again, in the Twisted series. This is a huge enemies to lovers because they've been enemies for years. And this, I'm not going to read the back because I did that in the TBR. But basically you have Josh and Jules. Jules is the best friend of Josh's sister, and they have always been at odds, and until one night things get steamy, and now they kind of want to have an enemies with benefits relationship, and what could go wrong? So this is going to be the prompt that I read for that, and it is thick, so I know this is a week-long readathon, but I think the first 2 books so far were I think like 300 pages. This is probably the first chunkier one, but we do have more. We do have more. So next up for our prompt is to read a 5-star prediction. This is a book that you predict is going to, knock your socks off, out of this wall, hit the ball out of the park, whatever the analogy you want to use. For this one, I am choosing Gothicana by Runix. This has been on my mind. I had seen a few little kind of lines from it and things out on Instagram, and then I saw it on Kindle Unlimited, and I read it and I was like, yeah, I need to. It just sounds too good. The lines that I had seen that people were, gloating over basically on social media pulled me in. I was intrigued, so I do have to read it now, and it just happens. I think it's going to be a 5-star because of what I've seen so far about it, so we shall see. Basically, you have, they're putting it up as a Beauty and the Beast sort of retelling with the gothic suspense of Dracula, and I'm like, intrigued. So it says, an unusual girl, an enigmatic man, an ancient castle, what could go wrong? An outcast her entire life, Corvina Clem is left adrift after losing her mother. When she receives the admission letter from the mysterious University of Varenmore, she accepts it as a sign from the universe. The last thing she expects, though, is an old, secluded castle on top of a mountain riddled with secrets, deceit, and death. An enigma his entire life, Vad Deverell Vad, not Vlad, likes being a closed book, but knowing exactly everything that happens in the university. A part-time professor working on his thesis, Vad has been around long enough to know the dangers the castle possesses, and he knows the moment his path crosses with Corvina, she's dangerous to everything that he is. They shouldn't have caught each other's eye. They cannot be. But a chill-inducing century-old mystery forces them to collide. People have disappeared every 5 years over the past century. Corvina is getting clues to unraveling it all, and Vad needs to keep an eye on her. And so begins a tale of the mysterious, the morbid, the macabre, and a deep love that blossoms in the unlikeliest of places. So, I mean, for me, my cue-in words are going to be, Beauty and the Beast, obviously, suspense of Dracula. You're going to have a old castle or, manor house with secrets. The fact that there's a mystery, people disappearing. So I'm like, mystery, castle of secrets. I mean, are these secret entrances? Are these secret puzzles? Like, that is getting my Scooby-Doo brain going nuts. So, and then of course you have this, is there an age gap because she's new to the school. He is I'm assuming a grad student working on his thesis, but he's also a part-time professor. So is he her professor? Are there lines not to be crossed? I mean, so much going on. Gotta read it. Hoping it will be a 5-star. Really hoping it would be a 5-star because I don't think I've had a 5-star yet so far this year. So it would be nice to get one on the books for me. And that is going to be my 5-star prediction. So next we have a poll pick. And for this, I actually went out on social media and put icons out there. If you were one of the people who voted, thank you so much. But we ended up having a tie. Like, we basically had 3 books, and just to let you know, there was a snake, a plus sign, and a dove, and that was actually for serpent and dove. There was a moon and a witch, which was for Night of the Witch. And then there was, I think it was a puzzle piece and a heart, and that was meant for Throne of the Fallen. And I gave you guys those to see what you would pick. And there was a tie between Night of the Witch and Serpent of the Dove. So I ended up having my husband pick out of those because I wanted it to be something that I did not have any choice in picking, but there needed to be a tiebreaker. And he ended up picking Night of the Witch. This is written by Sarah Rosh and Beth Revis. And this intrigued me because it says a witch should never fall for her hunter. And I'm like, I'm in. But basically you have Fritzi is a witch, the lone survivor of a brutal attack on her coven. She's determined to find her only remaining family and bring the Hexenjägers, zealot witch hunters, to justice for the lives they ended. To do this, she will need to take down their leader, the merciless and enigmatic Commandant Dieter Kirk. Otto is a Hexenjäger, but that's just his cover. Years ago, the Hexenjägers burned his innocent mother alive, and he has been plotting his revenge against the people who tore his family apart ever since. And now the time has come for them to pay for what they've done. When Fritzi and Otto are unexpectedly thrown together, neither is sure they can trust the other. The reluctant truce, fueled by their common enemy, takes them from city at the heart of Hexenjäger's power to the wild and mysterious Black Forest. As old truths come to life and new dangers are revealed, Fritzi and Otto uncover horrifying magical plot at the center of the Hexenjäger attacks that leads back to Commandant Kirk. But their own growing feelings for each other may be the most powerful magic of all. So, forbidden romance, revenge plots, intrigue. I am here for it. So this will be my poll pick for you guys. Thank you so much because this was one I was wanting to read sooner rather than later. But that doesn't mean that Serpent and Dove is not getting picked because I decided to choose this one for the fave trope prompt, which is for me one of my fave tropes. Tropes is an enemies to lovers kind of forbidden romance thing. And for Serpent and Dove is the first book in this series. I can't remember what the series is called, and Serpent and Dove is the first book in the series. And this is basically, you have 2 years ago, Louise LeBlanc fled her coven and took her shelter in the city of Cesarine, forsaking all magic and living off whatever she could steal. There, witches like Lou are hunted, they are feared, and they are burned. Sworn to the church as a chaser, Reed Diggory has lived his life by one's principle, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. His path was never meant to cross with Lou's, but a wicked stunt forces them into an impossible union, holy matrimony. The war between witches and church is an ancient one, but Lou's most dangerous enemies bring a fate worse than fire. Unable to ignore her growing feelings, yet powerless to change what she is, a choice must be made. So you have the forbidden romance, you have the enemies to lovers, you have a forced relationship, I guess, because somehow they got to get married to each other, or maybe he doesn't know that she's a witch, so secrets. So it is sort of similar to Night of the Witch in the fact that you're kind of having a witch and hunter, but in this one, I think it's going to be a pretty clear team up in the beginning, whereas I think this is probably going to be a little bit more maybe slow burn or slow to come to terms with their relationship. But I am curious. I've heard a lot of good things about this series, and I am curious to get it started. I know we are starting a series, but we've finished a few already, so we're good. We're good. And for our final prompt is to read a book with a new author. And I decided to, once again, try to go back to my Kindle. I know this is a very Kindle heavy month, but that was one of the goals I had, was to start clearing through my electronic ebook bookshelf, because there are a lot on there. I've been focusing a lot on physical. So I want to kind of try to make it even, or, take a big chunk out of the ebooks on my shelf. And so I am reading A Curse in Darkness by Sherilee Gray. This is book 1 in the Thornheart trials. Once again, starting a new series, but let's just face it, a lot of the fantasy romances are series. They are series, so it's going to be done. But anyway, in this one, you have Willow, and with the fate of my family and our magic suddenly in my hands, I vow to protect them no matter what. But the coven trials have claimed many witches, and vanquishing malevolent spirits while hunting a possessed hellhound on a killing spree is far more than I bargained for. Now the hellhound's domineering alpha is shadowing me. More beast than man, Warwick both tempts and terrifies. Still, I can't resist our overwhelming attraction, and when a twisted enemy makes their move and I'm faced with an impossible choice, I need him more than ever. But fortune is fickle, and in a world full of monsters, falling in love can be hazardous to your health and your heart. So I thought it was interesting because this is featuring, I don't know if the love interest, if Warwick is the hellhound or if he's a guy that controls the hellhound, but you don't really hear about hellhounds too much in fantasies, let alone fantasy romances. So I thought that was an interesting take. Plus you have, it looks like they're saying that there are, the coven trials have claimed many witches. So I'm wondering, are they participating in the coven trials? Is there something more going on? So I was intrigued enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to pick it. I've never read from this author before, so we shall see how it goes, and I will keep you guys posted. But that is basically everything we are reading. I think it's the final full week of February. Like once again, it's from the 19th through the 25th. Hopefully I will get through them all. We shall see how I do, because I think all in all, when I add all these books into the mix, it adds, I think we started with like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there were 7 books in my February T.B.R. And then you add into it the 2 more books, the Summertime Circus and the Cold Carnival, bringing us to 9 for kind of Polathon and what I was reading. And then you add in these, you have what I'm now at 15 books. I'm like, is it a book heavy month? Yes, absolutely. Normally I do 8 to 10, and I know I've been slacking as of late. So this is going to be a push for me, but I think it's going to be enjoyable because there's a lot of books on here that I've had my eye on for a while and I've really been wanting to read. So I think that like eagerness to wanting to read them is what's going to drive most of February. Plus, funny enough, the week that Cliterature Readathon is going on, my kids are out of school on their winter break yet again. So I'm probably gonna, once again, try to do what I did for the final book support group, which was to have everything prepped and under, order before that week happens, so that that week I can really just concentrate on reading and chilling with the kids. Like having it be an easy week. We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned for it. Let me know if you guys are participating or if this, piques your interest. Once again, I'll leave the links down below so you can check it out. She does do prompts, but in no way is she going to she's the type of person that doesn't, Steph's the type of person that doesn't push you to choose the prompts. She kind of puts them there, in case you're trying to figure out what to read. So I don't think you need to feel pressured to do the prompts or do all of the prompts. I think it's more just to read some fun, flirty romances in that week. So let me know if you're going to join us, or just let me know if you are going to be reading any spicy pics or romantic pics for the month. What are some of your favorite romances? Let me know in the comments below. I might add them to my picks or my list, and let's see what happens. But I hope you guys are staying healthy, warm, and safe, and I wish you guys the best, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.